Hello, and welcome to my video podcast series. My name is Dinis Guarda, and I'm here for a new, very interesting interview. And normally, I'm in this podcast and series, we talk about ideas, the biggest challenge that humanity is facing, different industries, different questions, different challenges. And how can we especially think bigger, out of the box, and make the world a better place? We are facing a lot of challenge worldwide right now. But I think there's a lot of good things happening. So we want to highlight thought leaders, influencers, experts, and inspiring people shaping and creating new narratives, solutions, and as well the devil of the details of how to change and making things a bit better. These podcasts and videos are part of the platform citiesabc.com, a new wiki for AR platform that is focused on cities, citizens, and all of us from society, from business, from universities, and as well the change makers that are changing the world and making it a more advanced place. So today we have someone that I'm actually very excited to profile and interview, Shailendra Singh. And I want to start, before talking about him, by two quotes that I found from him that I really like. One is a quote that is, I think, very important for our days, is everything divides, only love unites. That's the first quote. And the second quote, it's more related with this industry, the film industry, that as well, Bollywood, which I have a huge passion, is that the walls of Bollywood are thick and high. I want to use my 25 years of experience in the industry to launch a mirror to Bollywood, a parallel Indian cinema universe where I can help young people to climb those walls. So that's actually beautiful quotes and powerful. And I want to talk a bit about the profile of Shailendra Singh, which is quite impressive. So one of the most powerful men in Bollywood, was ranked 12 in one of the lists, over 28 years in terms of producing and filming, and as well doing a lot of business in different areas. Have been produced over 72 full-length feature films, and as well a very active writer with books that are bestsellers, and as well someone that curates, writes, and directs most of the viewed short films in India, and as well a best-selling author with his book F Knows. I'll try not to use the rest, which I think is a great title. That is a cute. And it was a very high-profile book, and actually very interesting for our days. And as well, someone that is very involved in a lot of different industries, a lot of profiles, and pushing things forward between the film industry, the digital, and the media, but as well in a lot of areas like sports and cricket, football, and boxing, and a lot of other things. And as well, behind films, Shailendra is known as well as the inceptor of Sunburn, Asia's largest dance music festival, and guest list for Good, which broke records for live events and charity. And is as well the Asia's largest music promoter, and the only Indian ever to be ranked in the 50 most powerful people in EDM. So that's quite an achievement. I could go probably for 1 hour, but I'm looking forward to talk with you. So welcome to our podcast, first of all, Shailendra.
Thank you for having me.
It's a huge honor, and I'm actually quite excited because I think India is like a mystery that everyone knows, but very few people know really how to go through the layers. It's like going through the Alibaba cave and try finding the mysteries. And you have to go through all the different rituals. So I want to start with your background. I think someone like you that build a massive track record and profile, and as well someone that has been touching the most premium things of film, music, and a lot of other things, and as well an author. What's your background? How did you become the Shailendra successful business and producer and creator? But as well, I'm sure there's a story behind it. That's the most fascinating thing about people is the stories, the details. How did you become who you are? And as well, especially in India, that in the last 40 years went from being a former colony of the UK to be right now in the next decade the second biggest economy in the planet, passing actually the United States by 2050. So I'm actually very excited, and I'm actually a huge fan of India. So if you could let us that overview about your story and the beginnings of your story.
I always say that if you really want to know yourself, or if you want anybody else to know you in the true essence of who you are, you need to go back to your roots. And I think if I go back on my roots, the only one person that I truly believe that designed and curated my DNA, it was my father. He was my sole inspiration for who I am today. And he has a pretty rags to riches story, coming from a very small village with no transportation, no lights, and walking 16 miles a day to get himself educated, and then becoming India's most celebrated sugar technologist. And because of his success, we were able to leave the village and travel all over India initially, and then subsequently he was also designated to set up sugar industries all over the world, which is Nairobi and East Africa and other places in the world. So I saw his discipline, and he somehow in life, the way he spoke, he was a phenomenal orator. He became my mentor, my guru, my father, and my best friend. He was also my best buddy. And therefore, everything I feel that I have within me comes from him in many ways. But having said that, my own qualification, obviously I was not as educated as him, because I just hated education since childhood. All I wanted to do was to play cricket for my country. And in those days, I mean, cricket was not a profession. Now it is, with IPL and everything. At that time, cricket was a hobby. And so my father used to tell me, hey, you can play, but you got to go to college. And after you're playing, you got to go and get some work experience in the evening. It was like, I didn't know what to do. What was I going to do with my life? And in that journey, one thing I surely realized very early in life, that as a family, we didn't have money. And we were traveling in small cities of India, and then through to a natural calamity that took place in one of our small factories. When my father was a general manager, we were transported in trucks late at night into Mumbai. That's when I came to the city of dreams, which is our business capital and as well as the entertainment capital of India. So coming to Mumbai was completely not designed, but by default. And what I experienced gave me a single qualification, which is open-mindedness and good reflexes. So I'm an opportunist and I'm an expressionist. So I don't have any qualifications, but my qualification is that I see every opportunity as an opportunity sent by the universe to me, and I feel I should grab it with both hands. And that's what I did in my life. So when I couldn't play cricket for the country, I landed up raising $2.3 billion for Indian cricket. And I ensured that the entire Indian cricket team was represented by me alone. So I still played hobby cricket, but then I got in the middle of the mix. So this whole attitude of having an open mind and good reflexes really allowed me to flow with the tide. So when I graduated in Mumbai, I mean, I hardly graduated because I just barely passed through my education system. And I had to get a job, and I just couldn't get one. And my mother challenged me one morning that she was reading an Indian newspaper, and she saw this company called the Taj Hotels. And that is one of the most respected groups in India, the Tata Group. And she said, if you can get a job here on your own merit, then I will leave you on your own, and I will let your father also leave you to do your own sports and crap, but prove to me that you can on your own get a job. I went to the hospitality industry to get a job. It was a nightmare. There were 5,000 candidates. Only 11 were selected, and I was one of them. But I was a steward in the Taj Mahal Hotel, Mumbai, in the coffee shop. Not the Amsterdam coffee shop, but the real tea coffee shop. In India, coffee shop has a different meaning. So I was actually serving milkshakes and tea with a little bowl. And my salary was less than 30 pounds a month at that time. And at that time, I realized the value of money, the value of following your dreams, and the value of having resourceful contacts whereby you can fulfill your dreams. So that's how it actually cruised along. And then I landed up one day getting an idea with my brother, who's also in the hospitality industry at that time, working as a front office manager. He was a science graduate, I was a commerce graduate. And then we both together in 1984 started an advertising agency, a small little pop-up advertising agency. We borrowed $8,000 from my father to get an office, which we returned to him subsequently. And then from the advertising then in my journey, I was just so excited at being alive. And I was so thrilled that every day I was getting like 10 ideas. I see every sunrise in the morning. I get up at 5 o'clock. I sleep 4 hours because I feel that we must sleep when we die. We'll get very long sleep. We must stay awake, and we must cherish this beautiful journey called life. So I went crazy. I did 23 startups in 23 years. So every time I slept in the night and I got a dream, people call it dreams. I just call them opportunities, because I think every dream is real as long as you have self belief and self confidence in the dream. You can make those dreams come true. So every night I would dream and wake up at 5, take a paper and pen, start writing the idea, then go to the office, tell my brother, and he'll say, "You're an idiot. You make no sense, because why are we doing this? We should do what we know." And I said, "We should do what we know, but we should also do what we don't know, because who knows what's gonna be on the other side." And so those 23 startups, we became $1 billion+ company. We were the most prestigious 300 top brands in the country. We represented, I mean, huge amount of brands and celebrities. And we had 4,000 employees, 46 offices. It just suddenly, it just exploded into the real world. And for me, I sat back at a very early age. I got married at 25. And at 35, I felt I had everything that I really wanted in my life. I was done, actually. I fulfilled every possible dream. And then one day I didn't feel like going to the office. And something happened. My father told me, very interesting. I used to have early morning tea and walks with him. And he said to me that, "You know that when you don't go to work, you know what happens?" I said, "Nothing. I won't make more money, but I already have enough. So I can see the world. I want to travel. I want to play cricket in Winchester and Oxford. And I want to travel, all of England and Australia and South Africa playing cricket. And I want to have fun. I want to drink some wine and chill." He says, "No, you have 4,600 employees. Those are your employees, and they are connected to another million families. So when you don't go to work, you don't provide a livelihood to these people. It is you who is the captain of the ship. So you are fortunate enough to have the power to feed a million people. So don't stop doing that, because that is the journey of your life. Your journey was not to make these bucks and go and blow them up." So very interesting ups and downs. But to be honest, I think it was that open-mindedness and fantastic reflexes which made me an opportunist and an expressionist.
That's inspiring and actually very powerful. So I want to start with that relationship with your father, and as well the sense of discipline and responsibility, which is very typical of India, but as well there's a lot of layers. So I want to touch that, because I think that made the man you are today, and as well the success you have, but as well the sense of responsibility, but as well of passion. And I love that you say yourself as an opportunist and an expressionist. I want to touch that. So can you talk a bit about this? I think it's particularly important, and as well especially for people listening to us. There are entrepreneurs that are facing a lot of challenges, especially with COVID-19 and with everything happening in the world. This is very important, because success doesn't happen by accident. There's always reasons for that.
I think there's a formula to success that I followed, and I think a lot of people follow, and which is a fear and hunger. So either you're very scared that if you don't succeed, what will happen? You won't be able to pay your mortgage. You won't be able to buy the car that you want. You'll not be able to have the holidays that you want. So that's fear in life, that, the life that I want to live, I'll not be able to live if I don't commercially make myself stable and successful. And hunger is another ball game. And that comes to a very few people I've seen, that are you hungry for more? That hunger is, I don't know how to say it, but it's a mentality to see life as an opportunity itself. Look, we must understand our relationship with planet Earth. Earth is the landlord. We citizens, 8 billion people, are tenants. We are here. We will have some fun with the apartment or the land space or the space that Earth has given us, full of opportunities, full of beautiful things, beautiful relationships, great food, great lifestyle. And one day we'll leave. So while we are on Earth, and being the tenant of this fantastic landlord called Earth, we must really make the most of this journey. And therefore, you should be really hungry to live life to its fullest in a manner that excites you. Obviously, I truly believe I have a combination of 70-30 in my life, and which is, if I make $100 all my life of my commercial life for 3 decades, I keep 70 to myself for my own lifestyle, my family, my peers, things, that I need to maintain a certain status and my lifestyle. And 30% I always give back to society. In Indian word, Hindu, it's called seva. Because if you don't give back, you will never get. So you plow back. Whether you plow back in environment, education, poverty, you pick your cause, because your relationship with planet Earth, you take a lot from it, but you seldom give back. And I feel that there's a phrase that I learned early from my father, which was, the pleasure that you get in giving, you don't get in getting. And understand that in your life, you rather all your life, you work hard, be an opportunist, grab every opportunity, good work, always create a win-win environment, but always have your hand like this. Your hand should be the hand of a giver. And I hope ever in your life, your hand doesn't turn like this, where you have to ask for something. You should be in a powerful position to give people who are not as fortunate as we are. So I always strive for that, and I maintained a fantastic balance between 70-30 ratio. So if you go through my graph, I have consistently done a lot of corporate social responsibility work, whether it's for earthquake, or whether it's for HIV, or whether it's for National Association of Blind, or it's for education. It's been a consistent part of me. So therefore, I maintained a good balance between the three pillars of my life, which is creativity, commerce, and cause. So creativity is what makes me get up every morning. And creativity is what ensures that I make money. And when I make money, I also invest in cause, a good cause, to leave my landlord happy when I leave this planet and go somewhere, disappear into the skies.
Well, that's wonderful. I love this angle between the fear and anger. I think this is critical more than ever. I think especially as we have a society in one end driven by technology, that we are all becoming a bit cyborgs, but at the same time we need to keep, and especially as artificial intelligence touches everything we're doing, even if it's our phones, but at the same time we still need to keep this anger, and as well the balance between the fear and the passion, and as well the anger, which I love the way you put it, and it's really very inspiring. So I want to go, so from your background, and I think it's really impressive that you, I think that relationship with your father is very beautiful, and I think you're lucky on that level, because not a lot of people have that relationship with the family background, which marks a person for the rest of their life, and as well creates a sense of balance, or a sense of non-balance. But you start from the sports, and then you start creating a lot of companies, and then of course you went to film. So can you just tell us that these three angles, because you are still, I think you are one of the few people that has this kind of component between the creative part, like you said, the business part, and as well the media part, which is a fantastic balance, and more important than ever actually nowadays. So I would like to hear about that.
Sure. I think, like I said to you, it started from advertising, and advertising for me at a very early stage was a communication solution. And I, it's really embarrassing to say this, but I learned a lot from my father, which is discipline, knowledge, hunger, fear. But from my mother, I learned a very interesting thing. And my mother, and I don't advocate this to the audience listening to this podcast. Please do not do this, please. But my mother taught me one thing which became really the most strongest qualification of my entire career. And I made all my fortunes, and I won most of my awards and everything, courtesy my mom's lesson. And my mom's lesson was, she was a phenomenal liar, and she taught me how to lie, and then she told me that, you lie, and if you believe in your lie, and your lie does not hurt anybody else, you will have the power to make it come true. So I said, wow, that's twisted. And therefore, in advertising, luckily, I went to only clients initially who were as less qualified as me, because then I could lie to them, and they wouldn't catch my lie. And then I would tell them, I'm going to make this campaign, and you're going to sell 1 million products, and you trust me, and you trust me. I don't know what that word means. I mean, in America, trust me means a very bad word. But so I went down that journey, and advertising just blossomed because I happened to be a good storyteller and a great liar. And once I lied, and I went back to my desk in the office, and I said, shit, how am I going to do this? And then I was able to visualize in a virtual environment of people and resources and ideas that were going to make this come true. Because my mom always told me that if you lie with conviction, then your lie will become a truth one day. So I said, okay, my mom cannot be wrong. And then I would put all the resources, move all the mountains that it took to not only deliver, but over deliver. There's a friend of mine called Mr. Ian Banner who started the Laureus Sports Foundation in Monaco. It's based out of Europe. It's the largest sports foundation in the whole world. Laureus Sports Awards and Laureus Sports for Good. And he said something about me in an introduction to like 500 athletes in a big moment, and I was the only Indian there. He says, and let me introduce you to Mr. India, Shailendra Singh, a man who always over promises. And he had a long pause, and I said, shit, that's not an introduction. And then he said, and he always over delivers. So that was pretty much the statement. Now in advertising, then when I was able to be successful initially, and I was sitting with my clients, and my client one day was very frustrated with the printer. The idea that I gave, the printer was not doing a good job. And he says, and I was very disappointed, because if I created an idea, I wanted it to be executed well. So I told the client, I lied to the client. I said, I'm a very good printer. Can I print this for you? And he says, seriously? I said, yeah, I have a printing press. It was a complete lie. I'd never been to a printing press that early in my life at all. I had no idea what color, or no clue at all. And I took that to a freelance printer. I sat with him all night. And what happened is that I made a very good brochure, but I also learned printing. The next time I was sitting with another client, and he was going to launch his product, and he was calling 1,000 dealers and retailers, and he wanted to have a dealer conference. I didn't know what that meant, but I certainly understood one thing, that my client was wanting to communicate what I did through the advertisement to his dealers and retailers to motivate them to sell the product. So it was no big deal. What I was doing in a 1-minute commercial, he had to do it over 3 hours to 1,000 dealers and retailers. So I told him, I do dealer conferences. I've done the biggest in India. I lied. And he said, you're serious? I said, oh, yeah, I do the best dealer conferences. And then I got the contract for one of the biggest retailer conferences, and I made it a big success. And this journey just went on. And when I realized that one day, we used to outsource making the ad films, the commercials. We used to go to these directors. And one day a director was bullying me because he said, you first put your money, then I will give you your tapes. I got really angry, because I said, my client's release is tonight. And then I went back to my house. I was really disappointed that night. And I spoke to my wife, and I said, I'm launching an advertising film company tomorrow morning. And I told my brother, my partner, it's a great idea. And he says, it's a useless idea. And do not put the name of a company on it, because we are not into filmmaking. What is this rubbish you're getting up to? And then I had my new small little boxer dog next in my lap, and he was called Tiger. I've produced close to 3,500 to 4,000 commercials. I used to shoot 3 commercials a day as a creative producer and director. So then I made a lot of money in the production of advertising commercials. But until that day, when my client and me were frustrated, I would have not seen this as an opportunity. I would have not even known that I had the skill set to tell stories in 30 seconds and 10 seconds and 60 seconds. I never thought so. But then that's how Tiger Productions came to be, which subsequently in this journey will become Percept Picture Company, which produced 72 motion pictures. So the dog company became the 5th largest film studio in Bollywood. And then the name obviously changed once we made a shitload of money. My brother said, it's a good idea. I like your idea. Drop the dog name, and you can now put the company name. I said, oh, thank you so much. You're so kind. So basically from advertising, it was the core, because advertising got me really close to the decision maker in every brand, whether it was the marketing director, whether it was the chairman of the company or the managing director. But I was sitting on the couch with the man who made the product and who called the shots for that company. I was so close to that person. So obviously I became a person that he would trust, because I was representing the communication for his product. And that's how from each client, I opened up into rural marketing, media buying, sports management, talent management. Once I was sitting with a client and we were looking at a celebrity, and we had to now call a celebrity agency to source a big celebrity for their brand. And that was the time when India was, 90% of Indian campaigns had a celebrity in it. A Bollywood actor just stood there and said, this product is good, and the whole country would buy it. Or a cricketer stood there and said, buy this product, and that's it. You didn't have to do anything creative. So, and I realized when I got a pro forma invoice from the agency of the artist, they were charging 20%. So I was signing $1 million contract with an artist, and they were taking 20% on the $1 million, the agency. And I said, this is good business. This is what I'm doing is rubbish. And I launched Percept Talent Management at that time. And then we were the first one. I mean, we represented 600 artists, from boxers to cricketers to footballers to Bollywood actors and whatnot, everybody. And then that talent business became really successful. So like I said initially in the beginning of the conversation, all the 23 startups happened because I spotted an opportunity from my primary source of building a relationship with a client and building a trust of delivery. So the formula is A, find a client, B, lie to him, C, make that lie a truth, D, take all his money and everything he's doing in media, communication, and entertainment.
Wow, that's impressive. Well, in one end, I would call it lie. I would call it very good sales capacity. I think your mother was a fantastic sales lady. So it's the way you put the words, but it's important because I think if you look at self-development and even in terms of self-direction, what you tell to you is like what Elon Musk has been saying. We are in some kind of perceptual universe, but in one end is what you tell to ourselves. It normally happens.
Yeah. I mean, you look at Mr. Musk. I mean, he presents the same dream I present, but with a lot of intellectual masturbation. And he has had 20 startups and 19 went bust. And he's fortunate that the last one somehow went somewhere up. So it's very interesting that storytelling has different names on the planet. You know what I mean? Mr. Donald Trump is the president of the United States of America, period. He told a good story, which a lot of people believed in. True story, false story, I don't know. So I believe I like to make fun of myself. I like to believe that I was not qualified to do the jobs that I've done in my life. But I have always honored my promises, and I have a 99.9% delivery success ratio with all my relationships on the planet. Not one phone call you will make that you'll get a negative feedback, because I really work hard and I'm really honest in delivering the promise that I make constantly and consistently.
And that is the important thing, is about delivery. I believe as well on that. And it's very, very important nowadays, more than ever, actually, because we have so much competitive and complex world. So one thing before I go to your career that I want to touch. So the last 30 years, India went through like a twilight zone from almost 19th century or even 18th century to the 21st century. And now it's becoming one of the most advanced countries in the world. For instance, I remember going 10 years ago to India. Now, if you go right now, there's a massive difference in the sense that some areas of India are already becoming to the level of London or other things. Of course, with the complexity of India, which makes it much more exciting as well. And as well, some areas of India, we have like some of the biggest top CEOs in the planet that are Indians. So we have all this, not only India, but as well the diaspora of India, and as well, of course, the population. So how do you see these last 30 years in terms of the development? Because you've been going through all of that, and especially, like you said, in the media industry and the advertisement, you see as well the changes from a country that was like very easy to sell until a country that becomes quite complex and quite sophisticated. And as well all the culture, because for instance 30 years ago or even 10 years ago, the sense of culture, the sense of race, the sense of caste was massively important. Now it's becoming a bit more blurred, but India is very complex on that level. And then, like you said, the storytelling is all about storytelling, and you are a master storyteller. So how do you see that evolution in the last 40 years, but as well as a media person and as a mogul of Bollywood, and as well as someone that mostly shaped the way the media, the Bollywood, and the film industry has been in India?
I mean, India is just a pretty new independent country on the planet. We are just 70 years plus of independence. So I would call ourselves a really new nation on the planet since independence, because we also have 1.38 billion people. So, and I also always position India as the United States of India. You know, India, and the reason I call it the United States is because when you take a 1-hour flight, you speak a different language, different food, different gods, different culture, different traditions. It's a crazy country. I mean, from north, south, east, west, and within each state, oh my God, I mean, you're talking about zillion languages, zillion different traditions, etc. So it's a complex country, But the opportunity in India is unbelievable. And I would say that the natural resources that India brings to the table, the first resource is obviously it's humans. Like you correctly said, that if you look at the 50 top corporations of the world, I think 38 CEOs of the top corporations are from India. The sad part is that most of our talent, whether it's engineers, scientists, doctors, bankers, anybody, whenever they blossom and they succeed, 90% of them leave our country and move to other countries. So I feel that imagine a world soon where all Indians that are all over the planet who are so successful actually came back to India. Oh my God, if that day happened in this time, we would be the greatest country on this planet, hands down. And I say so, why? Because first of all, I'm deeply in love with my country. I don't know whether you searched and figured it out, but I recently ran a campaign called One India, My India. I really believe that we are all different from the outside, but we are all the same from the inside. So I was advocating a thought process that let not politicians, let not power, let not politics, let not money divide India, because that happens on a daily basis on 9 p.m. news every night. So I feel that the country's human resource talent pool is outstanding. I think the best in the world. And therefore, like you correctly said, that in terms of technology, imagination, science, space science, medicine, we are at par. Our biggest disqualification is politics. I think politics slows our nation down in a major way, because we are the world's largest democracy, but we are an extremely complex democracy to handle. So I feel our growth could have been much better, but it gets held back due to the complexities of the politics and the politicians. Because the fact of the matter is that we are taught and educated and grown up in our lives to believe that it's horses for courses. That means qualification gets you the job, that puts you in the position of power to make decisions, right? I mean, you only can fly an aircraft if you're a pilot. But somehow we have managed to create an environment, maybe across the world, but in India particularly, I want to speak about it, that you could have an education minister who's never been to school. And you could have a finance minister who has zero knowledge of finance. Now that, for me, doesn't work. But what we have seen is that the potential of India is immense. We have the youngest population on the planet. I think we're now close to China in terms of the telecom sector. I mean, the way it's booming, and all of India is getting connected. So the consumption and the consumer base is massive. And with the digital and knowledge explosion, and with your phone in your hand in villages and small towns, everybody can access equal information. And therefore, every person is reasonably empowered. Are they mature enough or not? I don't know. But can everybody Google information? Yes. Can everybody be on TikTok? Yes. Can everybody be on YouTube? Yes. Does everybody have the maturity to handle it? So I think India is in my opinion, and I really want to be honest, I've always put a true perspective. The potential of India is immense. The complexities of India should be understood by anybody who is wanting to come into this country. And you must have a very strong local partnership if you're coming to India, because I feel that that is a necessity, because there are certain rules of engagement in this country that takes a long time for foreign investors, partners to understand. Now, just touching upon, so this is, I touched upon the aspect of the business potential of India. It's fantastic. You know, when there was a boom and Asia was growing, everybody ran to China, forgetting that China is a dictatorship and they didn't speak English at that time. Of course, there's a huge amount of effort to ensure that every Chinese speaks English, and they're doing their best to be part of the global economy scenario. But India was a democracy, and you know what? After our national language, Hindi, I think I would say 50% of India speaks English, which is interesting. It allows you. And when I look at India as a country, and I get to, when I travel overseas, and of course it feels beautiful because India has its own, underbelly, so to say so. Like even a maximum city like Mumbai has the largest slums on the planet in Mumbai itself. So it's a contradiction. On one side of the street in Mumbai, you'll find a Gucci and a Louis Vuitton store, and just 20 feet apart, there could be a home that is not even finding one meal a day. But but both coexist. And both coexist in reasonable harmony, which I think is quite interesting. And I therefore feel there's a great potential for growth for this sector and for consolidation for this sector. So, and beyond that, I've been a big advocate of bringing all my international friends. I mean, recently I had the good fortunes of hosting two very special people that I'll mention. And I market India as if I own India. Like, you have no idea. Come to my country, you have no idea the food, the culture, the traditions. You got to go to Agra and Rishikesh and Jaipur and Kerala and get this massage. And every state has a different massage, and every state has a different food and the music, and from folk to Sufi to classical. Oh my God, this is a crazy country. Recently, I got in one of my friends called Sergei Pulinin. He's the greatest living ballet dancer on planet Earth. Originally from Ukraine, now lives in Russia. He and me became friends by default. I won't tell the whole story, but we became friends in 3 minutes in Amsterdam. I don't know why. I'm not a ballet fan, but I don't know, some energies. Like I always said, we're all connected, and we just hugged. And I told him, you must come to India. And he looked at me and said, good idea. And then I got a call, and then he just took a flight 2 Decembers ago. He was here for Christmas alone. He's a big celebrity. When I said the greatest living ballet dancer, so he's a superstar. And him and me traveled to strange places. We tracked the Ganges. We traveled from Varanasi to Rishikesh. Ganga, the Ganges, is a river that comes from the Himalayas and sort of goes through the heart of India, but it comes from up there in the mountains. So we traveled, and we had the most spiritual, fascinating journey of our lives together, him and me. And I made a movie on it. And it's edited and it's ready for release now. So I'll be putting it out, how we traveled and how his life transformed by that visit of just 6 nights to India. It literally transformed. You can see the change that happened to him. He's a rock star right now. He's killing it. And about a few months ago, I had a friend from Hollywood, Mr. Michael Douglas. We've been friends for a long time in my life, and we've kept in touch. We were supposed to do big business together. We were supposed to make a movie a long time ago called Racing the Monsoon. It was a prequel to Romancing the Stone and Jewel of the Nile. So Racing the Monsoon was supposed to be shot in India from Rajasthan, a train robbery story. And he came and we became friends, and we couldn't make that movie subsequently, but we've remained friends for 15 years, surprisingly. So he came to Mumbai just, I think, in January, just 4 or 5 months ago. And this time he brought his wife, Catherine Zeta-Jones. And it was a phenomenal. So we presented India to him in Mumbai in one day. It was crazy, and fortunately, he also allowed me to articulate that one day, that 24 hours. So hopefully, fingers crossed. If he likes the edit, it'll be out in the usual Amazon, Netflix for you to see that what happened in that 24 hours. So, but all these people, not only these people, I mean, a lot of influential people come to India and take a lot out, because I feel there is a soul. There is a soul in India that I don't think I find in any other place on the planet. And India is an intriguing, layered, emotional relationship that only if you seek with complete honesty will you find it. So lots of people come and take pictures at Taj Mahal and fly away, and they say, hey, tick mark, I've been to India. Versus a Richard Gere or a Gerard Butler who's been here 9 times, they actually come, and actually absorb the energy and the soul and build a relationship with India. People who do that take a lot out of India in terms of creativity, inspiration, and also economic benefits. But you must, if you ever come to India, for whatever reason you may want to come, as a tourist, as a businessman, as a family person, you must understand that you must be sincere. You should have an open heart. And you should connect with the soul of India. When you do, trust me, you'll be a changed and a better human being.
No, I believe on that, and I love India. So, and I've been feeling that since my first experience with the Indians. And cheers. On that part, and I think through this transformation of India that's been going, and I think, like you said, it's going to be much bigger, because I think if you see, I don't think there's any culture as complex and as rich as India in a lot of ways, because like you said, India is these different countries and states, different religions, different languages, but it has as well a creativity on its own, and as well a spiritual sense that you don't have in the rest of the world. So I think that is a very, very important thing that we have. So I want to touch then from that storytelling that is unique. How did you start your Hollywood or Bollywood, sorry, career, and how did you push it to the level of 72 feature films, but as well a lot of different things that you've been building in the industry? And as well, I'm particularly interested to hear your views around the 40 years of developing of Bollywood, because as well as one of the biggest producers, but as well what I've been finding in the last years that I've been traveling, well, I travel a lot, not now.
Yeah.
I think we're all right now at home,
Grounded.
but what we are all grounded. But what I've been finding is if you travel most of the world, at the moment, the Bollywood presence is much, much bigger than just India. And even I was not conscious about that. For instance, if you go to any Emirates flights or British Airways or any of these big airlines, you have almost more Bollywood films than actually Hollywood films. And I see that there's a revolution going on in the sense that Bollywood is actually becoming a global industry. That if, for instance, even in countries like Vietnam, which I had no clue, they are completely Bollywood fans. Even the young population, the oldest and so forth. So there's a huge right now global exposure that I think is not reflected completely in the Western world. I think we're not conscious how big it is. And I think the opportunity is just going to become bigger. So I would like to hear your views from these last 3 decades of development, and as well, how do you see the present, and I want to touch a bit on the future as well.
Yeah. So I just want to say that, maybe the reason that Bollywood movies really cut across, and it's just not Vietnam, but also Russia and China. Even China is releasing a lot of Bollywood movies. And I think the single one word I could explain is that Bollywood movies are all about joy. They're supposed to give you joy. They're not supposed to make sense. So I think there's a lot of darkness on the planet. So I love to see a film on gun control or, diamonds out of South Africa and slavery. And I love looking at those stories. But Bollywood feels, I think, somewhere that there needs to be more joy on the planet. So if you see a Bollywood movie, it makes no damn sense, but there's so much joy in it. There's so much happiness in it. Sometimes one scene doesn't even connect with the other one. And that's why we got some 8, 9 songs and the dances are like, boom. Like, as if like there's a Jennifer Lopez in every song and a Shakira in every song, and it's blasting out. It's just so much entertainment and happiness being put out in Bollywood movies, and so much color. If you see every frame in a Bollywood movie has got so much color and so much happiness. And I feel that is an element that's cutting across, possibly because there's just so much happiness in what is being made out of the movies that we make. But for me, I felt that films particularly, and not necessarily just Bollywood, because I also made a few South Indian films, South Indian language films, and got a lot of appreciation. I feel somewhere films are a mirror to the society. There's a reflection of the stories that we tell are the reflection of the energy of the society somewhere. I feel that there is a connection between the two. And for me, I felt that Bollywood has the power to make a social change, to make a social difference. For me, all my cinema somehow had meaningful propositions to do. And that's why, like you quoted me in the beginning, my first movie, Pyar Mein Kabhi Kabhi, means Sometimes in Love, had 197 debuts. It was a record in many record books in India. All the people who were in the movie, including the director, the writer, the producer, the actor, the singer, all were debuts, including me. 1999. I felt that if I'm getting an opportunity to be a first-time producer, it is my duty that I give an opportunity to everybody for the first time in my movie. And it became a sort of a crazy story, because they said, are you mad? Why would you not play safe? I said, I'm not here to play safe. I'm here to tell stories, and I'm here to give opportunities to people in the industry who are not getting opportunities in the mainstream. So my journey of cinema was to tell stories that needed to be told, but also have a social impact. And I continuously did that, and that's why I landed up with a lot of national awards and a lot of acclaim for the cinema I made. I could have made about 20 times more money than I made in my journey of cinema, but I don't regret that at all. To give you an example, there's one superstar in India who's a combination of George Clooney and Tom Cruise put together. He's called Salman Khan. He was a friend at that time, and when I got an opportunity to cast him in a movie, I could have made a blockbuster with him, typically dancing and with guns and Bollywood actresses, and made a lot of money. But I put him in a movie which was the Indian version of like adaptation of Philadelphia, Denzel Washington, a movie on HIV. So I put Salman Khan into a film called Fir Milenge, it was for a social cause. Everybody laughed at me, but I felt after Africa, India was the second most affected nation with HIV in those times, and we had the largest, youngest population on the planet. And I felt it's my duty to use superstars like Shilpa Shetty, Abhishek Bachchan, and Salman Khan in a social message film. So that was my journey to always reinvent. I also made India's first social cinema, first animation movie, 2D animation on Indian god, the flying god, Hanuman. And I just therefore kept reinventing the wheel, because whenever I felt that if I broke through the barrier and made a Bollywood movie with a new direction, and there could be 1,000 me behind the alley. So I felt that I was like a big river, breaking myself into different streams of creativity, and allowing a lot of people to then follow those paths. And it did happen like that, to be honest. When I was making these small multiplex movies, there were no multiplex cinemas in India. And I always felt that you need to make budget films so you can make more of them. So I made a lot of the cinema, and now it's all about that in this space and time. So for me, Bollywood is my, I would say second love. First was cricket, to be honest with you. And again, it goes back to my mother. I know it sounds really boring, but when I used to be studying for my exams in the 8th grade, she would drag me just one day before my exam and take me to a local cinema theater, because she couldn't go alone. And she used to take me to watch movies in the middle of the afternoon at 12 o'clock. That was her thing, and I didn't want to go because I wanted to study. But she said, you must watch movies. It's very important, because movies tell you exactly human relationships, and you have to learn from movies. And I said, what is she saying, man? So I used to negotiate that she would give me a mango drink that I liked a lot. It used to be called Mangola in those days, and 2 samosas. If she promised to give me these 2 things, I used to go. And I landed up watching shitload of movies with her, and I feel I'm really proud of Indian cinema, and I'm also very proud that we've stuck to what we believe is our craft of giving and sharing joy and happiness with the entire planet. And I'm really thankful to people across the world who enjoy Bollywood and consume, because we are one in 7 in the world populations. Indians are everywhere. So if you like what we do, we will do more.
So one of my passions is film, as well, as I mentioned to you. So one of the things I found is that it's particularly difficult to find the platform to see Bollywood films. For instance, if you're not in India, and are you doing something on that? Because I think that's a massive business opportunity. Because if you look at Amazon, and if you look at Amazon Prime is starting to have something, but very, very small. And if you go as well to the giants like Netflix, they have nothing, almost nothing on that area. So I think there's a big business there for the rest of the world that is right now consuming this in a very fragmented way. If you are, of course, in India, you can find everything. But if you go outside of India, because I remember I'm Portuguese and been living out of my country for 20 years. I remember one of the festivals of Indian film that was actually, for us, was actually fantastic, because we had to go and see. But it's difficult to find, especially if you want to see like good quality. Even, it's one of the things I've been finding out, and you are an author as well, is if you start trying to read about Bollywood film, there's very, very lack of information online. So as we become more digital, there's still a big opportunity, because we're talking about one of the biggest industries. So I want to see, and as an entrepreneur, if you're doing something in that area, because I think there's a big opportunity there.
I entirely agree with you. So, but just to, there is a company that out of India called Eros International. I think Kishore Lulla and Sunil Lulla, who live in the UK. They have a very strong platform out of the UK, which is trying to put out a lot of Indian content. And there's, in India, of course, the Star and Disney Network has Hotstar, and they're trying, but they're not the Amazons and Netflix of the world. So you're spot on, and you're right. See, India lacks, India lacks consolidation and archiving and putting things together. So I'll give you an example. So if you love Bollywood so much, so now we become friends through this digital conversation that we're having. And then you come to India, the first thing you'll say is, show me Bollywood. So now let me burst your bubble. We don't have a Bollywood museum. We don't have a Bollywood park. We don't have a Bollywood studio. We don't have nothing. We have nothing.
I'm with you. I'm with you. When I went to Mumbai, I actually was excited to go, and then I see, well, there's nothing. You're right. Unless you know some actors or you can go to studios, that's difficult. Yeah, you're right.
So we as a country have this issue. Like in India, we always say cricket is a religion for us. Religion. Nonsense. In India, nobody watches state cricket, zone cricket, school cricket, college cricket, county cricket. No, they just watch India, Pakistan, India, England. Cricket for them is entertainment. Bollywood for them is entertainment. It is unfortunate because as you correctly spotted, I wish a global investor who sees the true potential, like Dubai has seen it. They've got Bollywood parks and whatever. They've done Bollywood museums, Bollywood amusement parks. So Dubai is capitalizing on the success of Bollywood, but Mumbai in India is not. So it's a strange scenario, but I truly agree with you. And if somebody from across the world wants to come and set up an OTT platform to consolidate some of the, look, we have cinema from 1931, from Satyajit Ray times. I mean, it's been archived in Hollywood, in Los Angeles, but we haven't archived it here. I would love to do that. I am dying to make a Bollywood museum. I feel the journey of Bollywood is so fascinating.
Exactly.
I also feel that a museum is an intellectual part, but I also feel that there has to be a Bollywood Hall of Fame, a Bollywood place, a studio set up, like when we go and we see the Universal Studio in Hollywood. It's a phenomenal experience. It not only glorifies and entertains you, but it also exhibits the true DNA. So I'm afraid I will give all my creative expertise. I will expose you to all my contacts. I will back you like the strongest spine you can have. Bring your money, come to Mumbai, come to India. Let's set this up.
No, I think it's a great business, and I might have some ideas on that. No, I think it's really important because especially on the digital part, as we become more digital, that's a massive industry that is completely underdeveloped. So I think there's a massive opportunity in electronic music in India. So that's quite. So tell me about that, because I would say from your background, I would not see you building I actually built a music festival, actually similar to yours, but in a small scale when I was young in Portugal, and I work with the Sonar Festival, which is one of the biggest in the world.
I know, yes.
So I actually, it's one. But what you did in Go is really impressive, and someone like you that is coming from a more traditional advertising. So tell me about that as well. I'm a huge musician. Even in music as well.
I always say that India is a strange country, which is, you could define it in 2 words: retro future. So when you come to India, there's so much retro energy and vibe and culture and tradition, whether it's our music, food, culture, everything goes back thousands of years. So the depth of India is so rich and so amazing. And with the technology explosion and the confidence that this generation has, it's sort of a retro future country. So for me, just to keep you posted, that I've done thousands and thousands of live entertainment events in my life, which included, cricket matches, musical concerts, not only in O2 Arena in London, Royal Albert Hall in London, but in San Francisco, big Bollywood concert with Salman Khan and Shah Rukh Khan dancing, and Aishwarya Rai and Hrithik Roshan dancing in Royal Albert Hall and in India. So thousands and thousands of concerts. So I was already into live entertainment all my life, just to let you know. Don't forget where I started from, that small dealer conference for a client, and I suddenly realized the power of live entertainment. Whoa. From that dealer conference, I also did the Fashion Week in India, the biggest one for 5 years, flew down fashion directors from Paris. I don't know how to explain to you, but done 3,000-4,000 fashion shows, then did thousands of live events and all that jazz. So that's pretty much online for you to see. And when I say big events, I mean 100,000 audience, 80,000 audience, 150,000 audience, large audiences. And so then in 2007, I was just focusing on the youth, because I've always been inspired by the consumer. I feel for me, my consumer is like God. He's ultimate. He or she, I may not know the name of that person, but I have an intense relationship with my consumer. And I always visualize and dream on what does he or she want next. because I truly believe that present is the past and future is now. So if with that ideology, while I'm enjoying my present, I'm always thinking of the future, because otherwise I'm not going to be happy with my own self. It's not about money and wealth and fame. No, no, no. It's personal satisfaction and joy of being able to predict the future and make yourself future proof. Take a lot of pride. Whoever happens, maybe 5 people, 10 people watch this interview, but I just want to make a change in that one person who watches this chat and understands what I'm saying. Make yourself future proof. Always think into the future, because then you will get so much joy and happiness lying back in your bed at night and saying, dude, I thought of that first. And trust me, there is a consumer who's saying, woof, look at that guy or look at that girl. How did he come up with this? And that pure sense of excitement is the ultimate joy you're going to get. I'm telling you, when you win an award, you go backstage, you're going to call 2.5 people. There are only 2.5 people on this planet who actually unconditionally love you. Trust me. Rest is bullshit. All these stupid likes and crap on the Instagram and Facebook is all false. It's only 2.5 people. But trust me, the ultimate joy is when you look yourself in the mirror and you know that you did something that nobody else did. That is irrepressible joy, irrepressible confidence for your own self. So having said that, in 2007, I sat back and said, I think India is going to lap up live entertainment. You know, we were so driven by the television and the cinemas that live entertainment had taken a massive backseat in our country. So at the same time, IPL, before the invention of IPL, I just want to be a little arrogant and say that I did close to 80 T20 matches, which was before the birth of T20 cricket in the world. Somebody should Google it, and then hopefully somebody should give me a private award for it. But those matches were called masala cricket. Masala means entertainment cricket. 6 months before the birth of IPL, they banned me, saying that you are corrupting pure cricket. And 6 months later, they launched IPL. So when I was doing cricket with music, so in cricket, what I did was I launched T20 format. In 1997, IPL is now. So, and I used to have musicians playing music on 80,000 watts of power when Sachin Tendulkar walked out to bat. I used to do songs, Sachin, Sachin. So I combined entertainment with cricket because I knew the Indian audiences wanted that. In 2007, when I was looking at the youth, I found the youth to be restless because we have so much music in our country, but we didn't have that one genre that unified all of the country. You must understand what I'm saying. So if you go to North, they speak Hindi, Punjabi, and Haryanvi, and many languages. You go South, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, boom, boom, boom. You go East, boom, another. We are sitting on about 300 to 400 frequently spoken languages in my country. So obviously, language cannot unite. So if Shakira comes here, or Ricky Martin, it's dos, tres, and after that it's gone because nobody understands the words. And that is why I was figuring out why are international artists not able to come to India, because we don't understand the language. So you could be successful in Mumbai, but you will not be successful pan-India. And therefore, the economics were not working for the big artists who just come for one show to Mumbai, the entertainment capital. And then I stumbled upon, because in early days, I used to party in Goa, in the jungles of Goa, where we used to put truck batteries in sand and put sound system. And we used to rave to, sort of psychedelic and trance music. And I was a huge fan of that music in jungle parties in the sand. And those days I used to not even drink wine, which I started drinking at the age of 30 only, very late, because I was thinking I was going to play for the country. So no liquor. But I partied a lot. And then somebody introduced me to electronic dance music, EDM. And when I stumbled upon that genre of music, I realized that this is bread and butter for India, because electronic dance music has no words. It's only energy. I said, this is going to unify and unite all the youth of the country, because youth is driven by energy. And electronic dance music was nothing but unified, good, positive energy. Psytrance and stuff like that can go a bit dark, but electronic dance music is happy music. Every 1 minute bar, it goes, na, 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 jump. It's happy. So then sunburn came into birth as an idea in 2007. But just to clarify, 50% of the landmass of sunburn from day one, and I had never been to a Mysteryland, Tomorrowland, Ultra, never in my life. Till 5 years of sunburn, I had never traveled overseas to any festival. So we curated this festival completely made in India with our own ideology for our own consumer. And we kept 50% of sunburn landmass for lifestyle activities. We had cinema theaters, yoga centers, volleyball, beach volleyball, rock climbing, ping pong. We want libraries. We only allowed local cuisine. So if we were in Goa on the festival, you could only eat local food. No McDonald's, no nothing, no branded food. You must, if you're traveling all the way to Goa, you must eat Goan food. So that's how I felt that we stuck to the DNA, and we became the third largest music festival in the whole planet. And we became friends with Tomorrowland, and Mikhail Biers is a good buddy, and even they traveled down to see what we were doing. And we really sort of, I take pride in saying that my team and me, we really invented something unique that we're proud of, and it's still flying. I mean, it's part of the lifestyle of youth in India. But the common connector was that. And one day, I'll tell you a short story. I know it's getting long, but I'll try and summarize it. I was leaving Sunburn because Sunburn became an expensive proposition. If you go to the festival in Goa, which is the flagship event of the year in December, we do a lot of Sunburns across. I built an top-down, bottom-up philosophy in Sunburn. So we launched Sunburn Club, and we also had universities in India allowing us to do Sunburns in campuses, college campuses. Because I felt that these kids, a 15-year-old who cannot come and party with us where there's alcohol and everything, they will feel deprived. So I convinced the faculty of universities, and we do close to 400 university shows in India, which I felt was really good because we give them the whole experience, and we said, you're not deprived, but when you become 18, you can come to the big one. But till then, enjoy it in the university. And then one day in Goa, when I was leaving the festival at night, I saw 8 young guys, having a beer, sitting on scooters behind the stage outside the festival. And I randomly always stop and talk to all my consumers because I love getting the energy on what they feel. And I said, how do you like the festival? He says, amazing, man, amazing. What music, man. We've been enjoying since 3 days. I said, great, thank you so much. And I said, did you like the stage design? Because that year we had done a retro future stage. We had the dancing Natarajana Indian god on stage with technology of the future. It was poof. We used to get tourists from 52 countries to Sunburn, Goa. So they were all like taken aback, like, wow, what is this? So I asked them, did you like the stage design? And he says, no, we have not seen the stage. I said, then how have you partied at Sunburn? He says, we don't have money. You charge $150. We don't even have $5 to go inside. So I said, what have you been doing? He said, we sit behind the stage on the main road and listen to music and drink beer. I said, serious? And I felt that while I had done something to make my country proud, but I had left out a majority of my population from not experiencing me. And that's why we launched Guest is for Good. And Guest is for Good means that all the people in the arena are free. All the people who cannot afford to buy a ticket, and Guest is for Good, they get to experience it free of cost. The artists, Hardwell, Martin Garrix, all perform for free. And I raise money through donations to corporates. And the cause is to educate children. So we have educated 130,000 children on a 10-year program already by doing 4 editions of the Guest List Festival. And I'm thankful for these global stars coming down and performing free of cost. And also Bollywood, a lot of singers have performed. So this was done for those 8 guys sitting and drinking beer. They inspired me that I've got to give back even in Sunburn.
Oh, that's fantastic, and it's amazing what you achieve on that and all the other achievements. So one of the things that I want to talk, and I think I could not make this interview without talking, is your books. Okay, you have F Nose and The True of Sunburn. I know that you're not necessarily a writer, but these books became very successful, and I think special F Nose won a couple of awards and lists. Yes, very important as a writer myself. So tell me about the book, and I know that the book talks precisely about a lot of philosophy of life that you have in the different areas.
I had a lot of experiences, and I felt that I should articulate them. Like we spoke about Bollywood, that Bollywood has forgotten to articulate itself. And I wish they do it, because this generation needs to know where Bollywood came from. I mean, from the era of the black and white cinema, etc. So So therefore, I felt that I should articulate my experiences. And in 2000, like 12 years ago, I went through a very interesting experience. My father died of lung cancer. A lot of things went wrong in our lives, in our family, in our business. Something happened, which was pretty disturbing overall, to me as an individual human being. And now I just want to share this personal information. I've never used an email in my life. I write everything by hand. So everything here is paper and pen. Everything I write, I don't even know how to print a boarding pass at the airport. I get anxiety attack if I trust technology. I don't like it. So, and I wrote this book by hand, and it is me. And I felt that time when I saw the dark patch, and I always said to myself that it's when you enter a tunnel of darkness, the best part is that there is light at the end of it. You don't know how long the tunnel is. Sometimes the tunnel can be 10 years, can be 10 months, can be 10 minutes. But always get excited when you see darkness, because at the end of the darkness, there is light. And I felt I should articulate all my experiences in this book. And I did that, and I'm really fortunate if you go online and have a look, because I was so excited that I wrote a book. I distributed this book in pubs in England, in aircrafts in Australia. I used to go to these fancy lounges for meeting in Los Angeles and leave my book there gently, like as if I just forgot it. Because I think books have a strange way of building relationships. They find their way, I know these ebooks and all these things that you guys read on this Kindle and Dindle and Bindle. I just like the smell of the paper. So I went and distributed this, and it changed lives. A French guy, who met me in a hotel, divorced his wife, and he went back and wrote me a letter that my book was responsible for him divorcing his wife. He should have done that a long time ago. I said, "Shit, what are you doing?" And it goes on and on. But I just felt that I was able to build a million new relationships with people just by articulating my life experiences. So anybody who feels they have something to say, and if you're a singer, sing a song. If you are a movie director, tell the story. Don't be nervous. Your iPhone is a good camera. Don't get nervous. Pick up your phone, tell the story. And if you feel that a book is your medium, tell it. You don't have to be an author to write a book. Look at me. Look at me. I wrote a book. And then I wrote True Story Sunburn, because I just felt that if I die with a heart attack or corona gets to me, the story of sunburn needs to be articulated, because like you so rightly said, that India is a very traditional society. We do not start sunburn, any event of sunburn, unless I do a religious ceremony of three gods. Lakshmi, she's the god of wealth and money. Ganesha, Lord Ganesha, the elephant god, is the god for starting all things. And my favorite god, Hanuman, the flying god, the god of strength. So I pray to these three gods, and then on the entire sound system of Sunburn, we play the anthem of Hanuman Chalisa, before the audience walks in. So we're so old school, and all our 5,000 people who work on Sunburn are not supposed to touch alcohol till the last minute of day number 3 of the festival. But at 9:59 on day 3, champagne's open. So old school, but catering to a future audience. So I just request, including you, if you have a story, just tell it. Whether it's a book or a movie or a song, just do it. Don't be shy.
No, that's wonderful. So I want to touch, and we are wrapping up in a while, but I want to still probably tell some more time. But so one question is, with all these achievements, which are impressed by all standards, and I know that you have the anger to keep things and really push things, which I admire a lot, and it's been a pleasure so far. But in San Francisco, you feel probably worse than you feel in, because what I love about Dinis is that even with all the chaos, people are happy. They are passionate. They are full of energy. Whereas in US, you have depression. I got depressed. Even in Africa, it's better. So I think we have a big challenge. Even in Europe, we have this kind of growing old population that is getting out of touch with reality, and as well getting into a lot of challenge. So the world is very, very, very crazy at the moment in a lot of ways. Of course, we have fantastic things at the same time. So what would be the message of hope for someone that came from this 30 years of development of India, and as well continue fighting and doing wonderful things, because you could be having fun, but you have that passion which I admire, and I'm the same. I don't care about how much I achieve. I want to do much more. So what would be that message? Because I think it's really important nowadays, more than ever.
Yeah. So here it goes. Thank you for asking this question. And I'm saying something that I was not supposed to say because it's supposed to be my new offering. But I feel a connection with you and your two other colleagues who are working hard behind the scenes putting this together. So thank you to them also. And I don't know, I feel a good energy in this conversation. And so I'm going to share something extremely private and important, extremely important to me personally. And I hope it resonates with your viewers and listeners, and it works for them. So I feel that all of us, I'll go back to the line that I wrote, and I'm really proud of that. With everything divides, love unites. So my thought process as a human is that we're all different from the outside, but we're all same from the inside. You could be a German from the outside. You could be an Indian, an American, an African from the outside. You could speak different languages. You could have different religious beliefs, surely. But from the inside, the color of your blood is red. Your heart beats the same way. The organs in your body are identical to mine. So if all gurus of the planet, all spiritual leaders, all gods always tell you in the moment of crisis, in the moment of darkness, to look inside, my humble request is that we are going through a massive correction on planet Earth. It's time for humanity and humans to look inside. And when you look inside, whether you're a German, African, whether you're brown, black, yellow, or white, you are the same from inside. But you being different from the outside, which should have been a qualification of you being different from the outside, is being manipulated by the powers of the world. You're being divided in the name of religion, caste, fashion, language, currency, maps, gods. So everything divides, love unites. And I feel that you can cure this problem as a human by acknowledging just two simple things. And never forget the fact, to give yourself an example, that if I cut the hand of a black man or a black woman, the blood that flows out, is it black? No. If you cut my hand, you think brown blood comes out? No. If you cut the hand of Donald Trump, you think white blood flows out? No. The blood is the same color. If we are the same from the inside, then where is the conflict? The conflict is man-made. The solution will also have to be man-made. And you can only find a solution to this problem if you believe in one philosophy. And one philosophy is simply, you are not a German, an American, an Argentinian, or an Indian, or an African, or a Britisher first. You're first an Earthian. Stop writing in your passport your country. Country, Indian. Country, American. Religion, Hindu. Religion, Christian. Also add one new column, planet, Earth. Because healthcare budgets, like, healthcare in India is 1% of GDP, but we spend 5% on space science. If you're not being able to find another planet for $60 trillion, stop looking for it and take care of this planet. We are nothing. It's so small, this Earth, and we are only 8 billion people. Why are 46% of our population sleeping hungry every night? Why 62% people don't have shelter? Are you mad? What kind of world have we created? So I believe that the solution lies in the fact that all citizens of this, all tenants of the landlord called Earth should understand that you're Earthian first, then an American, then an Indian, then a German. So I believe that the time has come to understand the aspect that you're only different from the outside, but you're same from the inside. So my message is, A, celebrate the fact that you're still alive. How do you do that? For just one moment of the day, breathe in, breathe out. Please don't take this breath for granted. Shut your nose and shut your mouth for 3 minutes. See what happens to you. This is what's happening to people in COVID. What is the universe teaching you? They're dying of a lung disease. They can't breathe. They're dying because they're not able to breathe. This is the universe teaching us a lesson, that I gave you a breath to cherish, to celebrate. And you took that breath for granted. I gave you a heart, so it beats not just for yourself, but it beats for your family members. Your family members are 8 billion, not your 4 people who live under your roof. Your heart was supposed to beat for yourself and others, but it did not beat for others. And that's why we are in this chaos. And it's just not COVID. It's a forest fire and a tsunami. And the universe will continuously keep teaching us lessons through different warnings and attacks, whether it's a virus, whether it's a flood, it's a forest fire. It'll keep going on till we don't learn the lesson. And I truly believe that we have lots of leaders of religion, lots of leaders of politics, lots of leaders of countries, but we do not have a leader of humanity. I don't trust WHO, United Nations. We need now a leader of humanity if we can find one. And if you can't find one, I want all 8 billion people, all 8 billion humans to become leaders of their own destiny and take life in control, because we need to look after our family members. And it's only 8 billion. What's wrong with us? How can another family member of ours die hungry? How can a child die of starvation somewhere? Rubbish. And if we can send space shuttles to moon, we can't freaking create medicine. We can't create food and shelter for children. So I plead that the problem there is hunger, shelter, and education. We need to unite as humanity and ensure that every child on this planet, who is the future of this planet, gets food, shelter, and education. And if we can't do this, then all these Bill Gates, these are people that have to be balanced soon, or so many lives will be lost. So, in a good way, breathe, cherish the fact that you're alive, and spend a moment to listen to your heartbeat, and let that heartbeat just not for yourself, but for humanity at large. Namaste. Welcome to India.
Namaste. No, it's wonderful, and I subscribe 100%. But I think it's very difficult. So I think as a wrap up, and I think we're passing 1 hour now. So it's a great. I have a lot of things to talk, and I'm sure we're going to do another one, probably face to face. So one thing that I think it's really important for me, and I think although I'm a technologist and I am quite well known on the technology side, but and as well entrepreneur like you, but what I love about your passion and success is that you are determined to get things done. And I think we have a big challenge in the education world and society about people taking ownership, like you said, about your life, because people don't take ownership of their lives. And I think that is a big problem. It's very difficult because society is not programmed to make people taking ownership. And I think you had that education from your father. I had as well my education, that I was very privileged with the education I got. But most of people don't have this. So they think that society will provide everything for them. And then, of course, they fail. So that's the biggest challenge. And I think India is a great example on this spiritual level. But like you said, there's the disparities in terms of wealth are still massive, which is right now around the world. It's not just India. And I think the irony is that India right now is probably becoming more balanced than a lot of other countries. So from this, you've been trying to, you have been revolutionizing the entertainment industry from India, from sports industry, and as well the music industry. We have one of the biggest electronic music festivals in the world. So what can we do on the practical level? And I forget like now the politicians and the governments, because it's obvious that it's not working, and we have to be realistic. It's not working. Okay. And then I think, but at the same time, you cannot give up. So I think people like us have to give the example, but as well have to come up with solutions. So I would like to hear that positive and probably wrap up.
I don't know, like, you know, Bob Marley had the power of music. He could sing and unite two presidents of countries who were fighting for 16 years. Wow. Just one day he got them together and said, shake hands. And no, he sang a love song on stage. I know that the currency that I want to market is love. And it's a very intangible currency called love. And I feel that love will win the day. And like I said, everything divides, love unites. And I'm on a journey to market the aspect that you should love everything. And the first thing you should love is the planet Earth, your Mother Earth. If you keep abusing Mother Earth, Mother Earth will tell you to get off the planet. And I think it originates from that ideology that I was supposed to use funny thing, you know, that you're saying it, but I took guest lists for 20 countries. So in Amsterdam, if you go and Google it, I launched 2020. I wanted to go to 20 countries that needed children education and do massive concerts and educate children in Brazil and Mexico and Africa. I had launched that in Amsterdam in October of 2019. This massive movement to unite and spread the message of love and education through music. So I don't know. I'm going to. Mr. Supra has left us, but
I think there's probably some connection with this.
So I believe that I want to advocate what I said to you about humanity and Earth. And like I have a line that I've written, which is really motivating me every day. Earth is a reality. Earth is a reality. World is the ego of humanity. Earth is a reality. World is the ego of humanity. And I want an opportunity, and I hope the universe gives it to me, to spread the message of love and somehow unite powerful people who have been distracted, to bring their focus on food, shelter, and education. Nobody on this planet should sleep hungry. Nobody should sleep without a roof, and everybody should have the right to education. This is a basic necessity of Earth, and if you have not done that, we are not successful. I mean, everybody is going to leave this planet, but have you left this planet in a better place? Have you left generation next in a healthier place, in a stronger place? Have we empowered them? If you have not done that, trust me, even if you die as a trillionaire, as a billionaire, you have done nothing in your life. You're a loser, because that's what I believe. You know what I mean? If I treat this planet as my home is so beautiful, so hygiene, so healthy. There is food in the fridge. If I can treat my home so well, why can't I treat the entire Earth so well? And why can't I manage the entire population of 8 billion people? It's not so complex. If we can go to different planets, we can invent such arms and ammunitions and great science, like technology, like we are today doing this conversation. I'm sure we can invent a heart that beats for humanity and ensures that nobody sleeps without food, nobody sleeps without shelter, and everybody has a right to education. So that's my mission. I will do all it takes, and I wish I was really famous. I see a lot of people have picked up individual causes of environment and Black Lives Matter, and I think they're all necessary. Mother Earth, and my dream is to be able to do that before I die. It's a big ask, but I'll try.
No, you've been showing that. I think you have projects like the Percept talent management, a lot of other initiatives. It's really impressive what you've been doing. So I want to thank you. It's been an honor. And as a wrap up, I think for people that want to know more about you, you said that you're not digital, but you are digital. You're using a phone. So just where people can find it, because they have your book they can buy on Amazon. But where I think it's really, you have as well a guru part of you that I deeply admire, and that guru is very important, because in the end of the day, people need guidance, and I think that part is part of your success and your energy that is wonderful. So where people can find more about Shailendra and as well learn with you.
I have been reasonably disconnected, but you could know more about my work on shailendrasingh.me. I've been told.
We're putting all these lists. We're putting all these lists.
and I have, and I don't, I don't even look at my emails, but there is somebody who looks at it 24 hours, and I do reply every email, but I have to call the person and then dictate the message. It's a painful process. So I think it's shailendra@theinceptor.in. Is my email, shailendra@theinceptor.in. You can share my email with people, because I feel that my cause now is humanity, and my cause is to connect with more people on the planet and do good for humanity and Mother Earth. So I'm open to my email being broadcasted by you, and if people write to me, I promise I will reply every email, because this is the phase of my life. It's just not Corona. I feel Corona is a brilliant opportunity. All of you watching this broadcast, thanks to our friend here, understand one thing: nothing could unite humanity. No religion could unite us. No world leader could unite us. Not even United Nations could unite us. No God could unite us. Even a God could not unite the planet. Corona united the entire planet. Corona has equalized humanity, equalized borders of countries, equalized religion. Places of religion have been shut down because of power of Corona.
That's true. That is a very good point, yes.
Imagine if Corona was love. Wow. Wow. Why does it take a negative element, a negative fear, to teach us a positive lesson? But never mind. I hope everybody watching this broadcast understand that Corona is an opportunity. It's not a curse. The previous flu killed 50 million people. We are much better off in today's time, guys. Relax. But what is Corona telling you? No borders, no caste, no religion, no color, no creed, bro. We're all one. Corona has united the entire world. So why not love?
That's
Enjoy.
a wonderful way of wrapping up, and it's been an honor. Namaste, as you
Thank
said. We're
Thank you
going
so
to promote
much.
the interview and put all the links to what you mentioned.
Thank you.
And well, it's been really inspiring. Thank you so much, Shailendra.
Thank you. Love you all. God bless. Thank you for this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.